Well, hello, investors and traders. I'm L.A. Little, and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. Take a look at these markets from a neoclassical perspective, looking at supply and demand on the charts and asking ourselves, what is the significance when there's a test? What does it tell us about the coming days? Do this show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday. It's broadcast at before 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube and under the channel L.A. Little. If you want to subscribe to the show and you haven't, just reach up in the right-hand corner, do so anytime I push content. You will get a notification. As far as what happened today, let's look at the ending numbers first. Another day of up, although not nearly the amount of gains that we'd seen prior days. S&P was higher. We had the Dow make new highs tonight. We had the Russell also. Russell's up almost 9% in 4 days, folks. I mean, that's how crazy that one's been. Big gains across the board yesterday, a continuation of that today. Gold takes a hit. Silver was up a little bit. Got an industrial component part of silver, so that's helping it some. Oil down, bonds down. You actually had another huge sell-off on the bonds. It's 3 or 4 days in a row now. Overseas, you had big moves back to the top side in Asia. They had sold off previously. And you had the European markets falter towards the close. As far as these markets, I'm going to actually start with the, what am I looking at here? Not the indexes, but the sectors. And the reason for it is we have a lot of rotation going on in these sectors. I'm going to flip through them just in order. I'm starting at the back and working forward. I'm on the discretionary. Pretty good volume coming in again today. This is just range trading. Really hasn't got outside of the range, so I don't think that was significant. You did see a huge push in the healthcare sector. That push was really focused on the unwind of the trades that have been against this sector for a while. But there's other issues out here, not just political, so I'm not sure that this is going to continue this push higher. You can see how far it was beaten down. We'll see how far it carries, but that one not so big. Anything of safety is getting sold. Here's the utilities. You see the utilities selling off, continuation to the downside. XLP, right? Safety. We don't want safety. Throw it away. Big moves to the downside as they blow these things out. Technology, not one you would think that would get sold, but it is getting sold. And why is that? Well, they're using it to finance other purchases is what it looks like to me. That's the best answer I have, but technology, especially big cap technology, getting sold. Where's the money going? Industrials. Big moves in industrial. Finance. Big, huge moves in finance, not just the XLF. But the regional banks, the broker-dealers, I mean, just go across the board. Anything finance is getting money thrown at it because they think there's not going to be as much regulation anymore. XLE, it's still trading in the range here, but getting a spike up towards the top of the range. Basic materials. If we're going to build things, we're going to need basic materials. Basic materials making a nice big move. Stocks, that's technology. Throw it out, right? And part of this, I think, is because you can't get all these component parts from these other countries if Mr. Trump is going to wage war with them. IYT, if we're going to build stuff, we're going to have to move it, right? We're getting big moves on the transports. IYR, well, as interest rates go up, these go down, right? So nothing there. That's good. And so you can see these huge, dramatic, moves across the board. IBB, biotech, same thing, right? These should benefit under a Trump administration. So it's fairly clear when you're looking at the indexes and then you look inside of them and ask yourself what's going on, it's fairly clear that what's happening is we have huge rotation inside these markets. And that rotation is about as fast and furious as it can get. So today on the S&P, what do? We pop up, we pop down, we close right in the middle. We actually do an over-under, you could call it a 2-bar, except we ended up with more volume. I didn't see that coming. It looked like it was going to fail. So if you remember back, we used to have this bar as a significant bar. And let's try to draw that in again. We used to have this bar as the significant bar. And it was significant because it was the breakdown bar, right? We got up above it. We tried to stay above it. We couldn't. We eventually rolled over. We rolled over farther. Now we get this huge spike. And what does it do? Comes right back to that bar. Is that amazing or what, right? That's the way it works, folks. That's a bar of significance. In neoclassical terminology, that's a bar of significance. And when you test into it, and especially after you've made a dramatic run, it gets very hard to get over that bar, and that's exactly what you're seeing happen here. Doesn't mean it isn't going to get over it. You're coming at it with huge volume. You are probably going to get over it. It's just that when you make that big of a move, you're going to take a little bit of a rest before you spike back over that. If you pull it on the weekly, you can see the bar extends a little bit farther. So anywhere from here up to about 2187 is it's going to be fair game. You know, these 20 points up here. Once you get over that, then you can spike up just like you saw the Dow do. But that's what's holding the S&P back. The other thing that's holding it back is the NDX, and I was just talking about that rotation. I got a bearish engulfing today with volume on the NDX. If you're in these stocks, that's not a good thing, right? Now it is trying to feed back into these two big bars off the bottom. It's into the high of the low. You really want, if you're in this, or if you want to be in this, you really want to see this hold and shoot back the other way. It's coming back into the swing point high, trading into it. This is kind of the key moment, so to speak. Needs to hold, needs to push back up, or you're going to get more distribution out of that index. Russell, big 9% spike, 4 days. I believe it's 9%, 1156. That's 1,000. Yeah, it's almost 4%. 9%. So 4 days up, straight up, right? You go up to the top, pull this one back, put it on a weekly. You can see you're coming right at the swing point highs. You push in volume. This thing isn't going to take much of a break either, but it will take some sort of a break and then continue. Right now, we don't have anything on the charts to tell us that this is going to stop at this point. So at this particular point, as far as I can see, this market's going to try and even move higher. Once we get the setup for the pullback, then we'll get it. But right now, we don't have the setup because we actually had more volume today. Moving over to world markets right quick. I didn't get a chance to look at these today, so let's take a look together. Let's go to the DAX first, see what that one looks like. So that one, I don't have the volumes on these, it looks like, but that one actually does the over-under. I'll have to see if I can get those volumes. Moving to the CACs, we got the same sort of thing. I don't have a quote yet on it, but did test the highs and fell up there as well as this bar. My guess is they didn't have as much volume, and so that looks like some sort of a pullback attempt to come. Switzerland looks like we got the volumes. Actually, there was more volume in Switzerland, so Switzerland showing increased volume. Shanghai, I haven't looked at it in a while. Let me see what Asia looks like real quick. Continues to push higher, and let me see, where's the other one? Toronto. Let me see if Toronto's moving with us, and not really. So not as strong. So overseas, I don't think it's telling us much. It's us. We're moving everybody, and we're either moving them up, or we're moving them down. Right now, you get huge rotation. That's moving everything around, and once that's rotated too, then things will settle down again, and we'll see how they shake out. But market wants to go higher, folks. Maybe a little push up tomorrow, some more testing, and then maybe a pullback. But you're not going to get a big pullback at this point, in my estimation. Going to tease you. I mean, when I say a big pullback, I'm saying in the context of what you've already seen, right? I mean, you could get a 2% pullback on the Russell off of a 9% move in 4 days, but in the context of it, that's not a very big pullback. Have yourself a great one. Take care, and enjoy your weekend once tomorrow is out and done. Take care. Good night.